Well, Fort Smith police are investigating a stabbing incident that left one person injured. It happened Sunday near the 1000th block of Northeast Street. Police say one person was transported to a nearby hospital with life-threatening injuries. They say no arrests have been made at this time, and if you have any information, they're urging you to contact them at the number on your screen. And 2 people are dead after a crash in Fort Coffee, Oklahoma on Friday. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says Keyshawn Steele and Ty Clayton were killed. Troopers say Steele was driving north on Orchard Lane with Clayton as his passenger when their vehicle went left of center on a hill. The vehicle struck an oncoming car, left the roadway, and then hit a ditch. The other driver was not injured. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. And we have new information in a case that we've been following for a couple of years now. Former Northwest Arkansas psychiatrist Brian Hyatt will be in court today for a mental fitness hearing. Hyatt previously served as the head of the Arkansas State Medical Board and director of the Behavioral Health Unit at Northwest Medical Center in Springdale. He was arrested in 2023 on 2 counts of Medicaid fraud, charges he denies, and faces more than 200 lawsuits alleging that he coerced and abused patients to collect extra Medicare money. Over the summer, a judge ordered him involuntarily committed for mental health treatment. Today, the court will review the report on his mental examination. We'll keep an eye on this and bring you the latest right here at 5 News. Meanwhile, Andrew McGann, right there on your screen, the man accused of killing Clinton and Kristen Brink, a couple hiking at Devil's Den, will also be in court on Thursday. He has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of capital murder, where prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Authorities say the legal process could take years with multiple hearings before a trial. McGann has been held without bond at the Washington County Detention Center since his arrest. We will keep you updated on what happens on Thursday. And reports from Iran say tens of thousands of people have begun another day of protests. A violent government crackdown is underway. Activists say hundreds have been killed. President Trump says that Iran now wants talks to prevent a U.S. military response. Holly Williams is in northern Iraq.
Iran is erupting. Death to the dictator, they shout on streets around the country, openly calling for the end of the Islamic Republic. Videos posted online appear to show Iranian security forces responding with gunfire. President Trump's repeatedly threatened to hit Iran hard if the regime kills protesters. A US official told CBS News that Trump's been briefed on options for military strikes inside Iran.
We're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options.
But according to one human rights monitoring group, around 500 protesters have already been killed, though we have no way of verifying that number. This video appears to show some of the dead at a morgue near Tehran, the capital. Our partners at the BBC say they've counted around 180 body bags in footage from this location alone. The internet in Iran has been cut off since last Thursday, an apparent attempt by the authorities to stop images like these being shown around the world. President Trump said on Sunday the Iranian regime may now be looking for a diplomatic solution to end the crisis.
Yesterday, the leaders of Iran called. Iran wants to negotiate, yes. We may meet with them.
Iran has targeted the US military before in this region, including by firing missiles at a US base just a few miles from here back in 2020. That was retaliation after the US assassinated a top Iranian general. Holly Williams, CBS News, Erbil, Iraq.
Well, in Minnesota, protests are intensifying after an ICE agent fatally shot 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good during an immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis. Hundreds of federal officers have been sent to the Twin Cities as demonstrators clash with agents, and protests have spread to cities across the country. Federal officers say that the officer acted in self-defense, while local leaders dispute that account and call for accountability as outrage grows.
The agitators and the rioters here in Minneapolis need to understand that our operations will continue unabated despite the violence they perpetrate against law enforcement.
The Trump administration officials say Good intended to ram the agent with her car, a claim questioned by Minnesota Senator Tina Smith. In a statement, Good's family described her as relentlessly hopeful and optimistic, adding she was our best friend. Well, locally, a candlelight vigil was held in Fayetteville over the weekend for Renee Good, with organizers saying the event focused on the current state of immigration enforcement.
So important to come together against all injustice, because an injustice against one is an injustice against all.
Attendees say the vigil honored her in the midst of calls for justice nationwide. And in Fort Smith, the demonstration brought protester response to the fatal shooting of Renee Good in Minnesota as well. Protesters with the group movement 5051 also organized against the United States involvement in Venezuela and recent comments about Greenland from the Trump administration.
We all feel like there is a need for people to be able to gather with folks who disagree with some of the policies of this administration.
5051 is a grassroots movement whose name in short is for 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. And a heads up to drivers. Road closures start today near the Walmart Amp in Rogers. The intersection of J.B. Hunt Drive, Northgate Road, and Champions Drive will be fully closed for about 90 days as crews rebuild it. The project focuses on pedestrian safety, traffic control, and long-term functionality, including a raised intersection, a new four-way stop, and narrower crossings to slow traffic. Rogers officials say now is the right time to make these improvements, especially for safety during large events at the Amp.
That crosswalk is a very heavily used crosswalk pedestrian-wise because it's right there next to the Amp. You know, the officers that do traffic control there, you know, basically say, hey, it'd be nice to be able to it'd be easier to control, you know, the pedestrian traffic here, and you know, along with the street traffic.
Detour signs will be in place during construction, and drivers are encouraged to plan alternate routes and allow additional travel time during the closure. Well, today in Fort Smith, crews are set to start rebuilding Bricktown Brewery in downtown. They'll commemorate the start of construction with a ceremony at 3 p.m. The building was destroyed by a fire back in 2024. Renderings show the restaurant and bar will occupy the first floor. The upstairs is also planned to once again serve as an event space and will continue to be called Adelaide Hall. Developers say the new building will be designed to resemble the original structure, which was built in 1871. They did not announce a date to reopen, but owners in the past have said that they have plans to reopen in January of next year.